cobblestones. Some are round, gray, and dull. Others are sharp, smooth, and brilliant. This one may be collaborative. The earliest known political cartoon in the United States was printed in the Pennsylvania Gazette on May 9, 1754. That image, entitled Join or Die, depicted a snake cut in many pieces. It proved provocative. Discussions and debates roared over what it meant, and it was widely reproduced. Ever since, cartoons have had a role in America as a source of satire, information, and sometimes as a call to action. With this in mind, the Smithsonian Institute has launched a program for the next generation.
I'm really interested in trying to bring sort of my comic work that I did into my work life. And my unit is Smithsonian Exhibits, and we're sort of a centralized exhibit shop. So that gives me the freedom to move between museums and talk to them.
Keeling found an opportunity to blend his love of designing comics and history in coordination with the Smithsonian's Youth Civic Engagement Program.
This is the first big project we've done where I sort of talked to American history. I talked to some educators in American history, and we discussed sort of comics and how comics could be integrated. And they were doing this program for the Youth Civic Engagement Program and a youth summit, and it was about the Japanese American imprisonment during World War II.
So far, the group has completed 6 comics. 3 were based on oral histories, but they also focused on notable figures such as Congressman Norman Mineta, Fred Korematsu, and Yuri Kochiyama.
Fred Korematsu was one of the few Japanese Americans to actively resist going into the camps and was involved in legal battles for rights of immigrants.
And because this is the Smithsonian, facts take the driver's seat in every comic.
Accuracy was very important. We worked heavily with Noriko, one of the curators for the Japanese American imprisonment collection at American History, and she had a team of interns and fellows that worked with us and went over scripts, went over text, made sure everything was right, provided us with images and information.
Even when working on a subject as serious as Japanese internment camps, some responsible creativity is allowed. Ava is one of 5 student artists picked from the Hirshhorn Museum's art lab to work on this project.
We didn't have that many pictures of these people in the camps. Sometimes we had to resort to Google.
Still, Google can't provide every answer. Sometimes an artist's instinct must fill in the missing gaps.
In some of the really little details, we kind of had to imagine what it would have been like, but we tried to get as accurate as possible in the visuals.
To make the comics, historians at American History worked together with student researchers, writers, and artists. At the start, they presented a plan, but historians know few courses are straight, and most require flexibility.
Originally, we were planning on doing like an 8-page comic of a normal proportions. And then while working on it, we found that this sort of zine format was working a lot better because you could do a short, punchy story. You just get information in, you get it out, you have that information, and then you can kind of move on to the next one so you can get a lot more into it.
One big reason for the format change, it allowed them to tell more stories.
It gets muddled. Like if you try to put every story of something that happened to somebody in the incarceration camps into one person's story, then you lose some, it's like impossible for that to have happened to everybody.
Art Lab's Eva says that working on the comics has been great, but the tools she's developing in projects like these may act as a springboard.
I actually hope to go into animation and character animation, but I feel like illustration and comics and animation are all very connected. It's kind of like a springboard to creating our own stories and creating like a rich kind of world.
Keeling says anyone can read the comics for free, and for teachers, the Smithsonian included instructions so that other classrooms can make their own historical zines.
All of the comics we produce are available for free with a teaching package, the instructions for how to assemble them, and also a template for 2 different types of blank comics, so you can produce your own comics in the same format we did. And they're all available on American History's History Explorer website. You can download it for free and print it out on your home printer and just fold them together and you have an 8-page comic.
Taking a comic look at the Smithsonian. For Cobblestones, I'm Andrew Hiller.